And what this really means, and the part that makes me so happy, is that Obama's string of losses at the polls is unbroken. He keeps losing, and he keeps losing. And as Felicia said, Battleground Israel is no more successful than Battleground Texas was. Couldn't be more thrilled. Couldn't be more thrilled to have them waste money and be unsuccessful in rallying opposing forces. Although the scandal is going to be that our tax dollars ended up paying for the opposition to Benjamin Netanyahu, which that's a scandal that I'm sure we'll be told is no big deal and old news and a distraction. And I did not have electoral relations with that nation, Israel, whatever it is. Anyway, this is all foreign relations, foreign matters stuff, and foreign matters. There's a podcast called that, isn't there, George?
There is. There is a show on Spreecast on Thursday nights at 10 p.m. And we will dive headlong and very in-depth into the election, into the Israeli election here. I would caution everyone, yes, Bibi Netanyahu's party, Likud, which is the right, the right-wing party or a right-wing party or center-right party, has won the most votes, and that's good. But it still has to form a coalition, which can be problematic, especially because I think that the replacement for Labor, the Zionist Union, is going to do anything they can to try to get a coalition together, and they'll promise anything if it comes right down to it to try to boot Bibi Netanyahu out of office.
Well, and they already have they had basically 50% of the vote, right? I mean, it's very close. I mean, it was Bibi may have won, but not by so much. And I don't understand the way all the 11 parties and all of that works.
Well, okay, here's how it works. Let's just go through that real quick. First, these are the elections for the Knesset, which is the body that makes all the laws in Israel, and it's 120 seats. You need 61 in a you need to win 61 or form a coalition with 61 to be able to form the government. It is a proportional representation system, and it is the same system that they use in the European elections for the European Union, for the Parliament. And you have to reach a certain threshold of a percentage to get seats. That's how it works. And that was changed recently. It used to be not all that long ago that you only needed 1% and you'd get a couple seats. And then it was 2%, and now it's 3%, 3.25%. So you're going to have up to 10 or 11 parties represented in the Knesset. Likud is ahead, much to the sorrow of our current president here in America, and to the surprise of most of the media in Israel. Likud is ahead right now, and actually there's just a new update that's come in. There are now 90% of the precincts are in, and they have Likud on 30 seats. And Likud is Bibi Netanyahu's party. It is the center-right party that is led Israel for the last I guess now since the middle of the last decade, so almost 10 years now. They have 30 seats. The rebranded Labor Party, which is now called the Zionist Union, and that's made up of Labor and the remnants of the Kadima Party. They're on 24 seats, and these are the two parties that are going to try to form a coalition so that they can be so that their respective leaders can be the next prime minister. Now, Likud should be successful. One of the parties that they're partnering with, which is the Jewish Home Party, has got 8 seats, and they will probably bring in the Shas Party and the United Torah Judaism Party. They've been coalition partners before, and between them, that's another 14 seats. So you're talking about, I guess, that's 52 seats at that point. So really, it comes down to this party, which is really a centrist party called the Kulana Party, and they've been in coalition before with Benjamin Netanyahu, and I think most folks expect them to join again. Now, the president, we all know about the story of this little group that was getting money from our government and was essentially trying to help the Zionist Union win the election over there. So this is a setback for President Obama. There's no question about it, although it's a bigger setback for the people that have hammered away at Likud, because Benjamin Netanyahu's focus has been so much the outside. It's been so much Iran. It's been so much trying to protect the country, which is understandable. But domestically, in terms of domestic issues, they probably haven't done as good a job as they should. Now, I think in one sense this wasn't what Netanyahu was hoping for, because I think he thought after only 2 years of this particular current edition of the Knesset that he would get a lot more seats than he got. But still, people were saying he was going to lose. They weren't going to be the largest party. Well, they are. And I think it's going to be a more right-wing, center-right coalition than before. And I think the big question, the kingmaker is going to be the Kalana party, and Moshe Kalan will probably demand the role as finance minister, and he'll probably get it. And that's the way this works. That's how these deals are made. It's nothing. There's nothing underhanded about it. This is the way you form a government in a place like Israel, because you're not going to win enough votes to get 61 seats. It doesn't happen. It's never happened in the history of elections in that country. So it looks very good for Bibi Netanyahu. They're going to have the most seats in the Knesset again, and they're going to probably form a stable government, and that's important. That's important because it does give him a mandate to continue pushing hard internationally against the Iran nuke deal. The talk that was a failure, I heard that all last week, over the weekend, and leading up to the day, that his speech in Washington didn't work, that it galvanized people against him because it made it look like there was more distance between Israel and the United States, which is something that's a major issue over there. They are very much believers. The voters over there very much treasure the friendship between the USA and Israel, and they don't want to see anybody damaging it. So, and the left, to be fair, tried to make an issue of that and said he did damage it because Obama was president. That didn't work. All the other things that have gone on, all the other attacks in the media from places like Haaretz didn't work. So Bibi is to be congratulated, but he's going to have to make sure that there's more attention to the domestic issues and the domestic side of things. It's not just about protecting Israel, which is very important. He's going to have to do better on those things also.
But remember, just like here, we have an electorate that tends to not really care so much about foreign policy, and they will vote their own personal pocketbook. The people in Israel are no different, and cost of living goes up and wages are down, if they are. I don't even know. That's what they're going to be paying attention to, because their national survival against the enemies, that's constant state for them. I mean, ever since, for all of them, the entirety of their lives has been spent in a place where they are surrounded by enemies who want them all to die and stop existing. So that's always been the case. But as far as personal economics, they've had good days and bad days, and they want more good days, and Bibi's been ignoring it. So, I think the economy was a weakness or a lack of focus for him, and it just as it is for us.
And I was going to make this point in the backboard chat, but I want to make this point here. The left in Israel feels like the peace solution is an obvious one, that it's got to be a two-state solution. You have to give the Palestinians a state. And they believe that Netanyahu uses what's going on with Iran and what's going on with, Hamas and these things to deflect from the relatively mediocre performance on domestic issues. And they believe, and that's, they don't think it's as big a problem as it is. They really don't. But that's on Foreign Matters at 10 o'clock on Thursday on Spreecast. We will delve very deep into this. We will tell you about all the parties, where they stand, what they believe, what they're going to be looking for, and how, if it's not already formed by then, how we think this coalition will work, or who will be in it. But that's what the leftist parties in Israel think about Netanyahu and think about Likud in general, and that's why they de-emphasize some of these things. They really do.
Well, and obviously Bibi didn't have a huge victory or anything, but I think maybe I'm looking for, how does this matter to the conservative movement and our messaging of it? I think what we're learning and what we're seeing is that the victorious politicians are the ones who stand clearly on a particular side and on a particular issue and are upfront about it and don't back down in the face of withering criticism. Obama is very much that way. He stands strong on his progressive credentials, and he personally wins elections because people like him and what he stands for and what they think he's going to do, what they believe that he stands for and what he says. when we have successful conservative politicians, it's because they are standing up for themselves, their beliefs, and they really do make the case rather than being the mushy moderates. Mushy moderates simply don't win.
I'm pretty sure you can get the general gist of the piece by the title alone, which is "Knock off the loser talk. The fight hasn't even begun." And I mean, there are very few authors that can get that can pull that kind of a title off, and Kurt Schlichter is one of them.